here today at the Jim Henson Studios, which are formerly the studios of Charlie Chaplin, first studios in Hollywood, California. We're going to interview Craig Bartlett, the creator of Dinosaur Train, the new hit PBS show. So come on in, we'll check it out.
Dinosaur Train!
Dinosaur Train.
Dinosaur Train!
Dinosaur Train.
We're gonna ride the Dinosaur Train!
Dinosaur Train!
Catchy.
Dinosaur Train! It's totally catchy.
It's a catchy tune.
So tell us about Dinosaur Train.
Well, Dinosaur Train is a show. It's a PBS show that's on in the mornings, which is prime time for preschool kids. I think 7 days a week.
Oh, that's wonderful!
The show is basically about Buddy, who is a T-Rex, and he was hatched in a nest full of pteranodons. So he's growing up in a family of pteranodons, which are these guys.
We're Mr. and Mrs. Pteranodon, and these are our kids, Tiny, Shiny, Don, and Buddy.
And the conductor, he's really important too. The conductor is the guy that basically kind of runs the Dinosaur Train.
Hello, Pteranodon family. Let me guess, you're here to ride the Dinosaur Train?
Well, I should mention that they time travel. You know, they're in the Mesozoic, and they take these. The train goes into these time tunnels and can pop out, 50 million years earlier or later.
I love the time tunnel, don't you?
Next stop, Corythosaurus Canyon.
So how did you conceive of the idea for Dinosaur Train?
Well, it's an idea that I've had ever since my son Matt was probably 3, and since he's 20, that's a pretty funny story. He was when he was 3, he was like almost all 3-year-old boys that I've known. They kind of marching around the house saying giant dinosaur names and playing with trains. He was crazy about trains. There's a place in LA called Travel Town. I don't know if you know it.
Oh yeah, in Griffith Park.
Yeah, we would take him to Travel Town, and he just was fascinated with trains, and he had all those kind of like Brio sets and Thomas the Tank Engine, and I would watch him putting little toy dinosaurs on the trains and taking them for a ride. I said to my wife, if I made a show that had dinosaurs on a train, I would have all 4-year-olds at hello. This is the very first image I ever did. When I went to pitch it, I had this image with Buddy and Tiny and Mom and a train full of dinosaurs. And my friend Linda Szymanski, who I've known for a long time, I knew her at Nick and I knew her at Cartoon Network, she went on to PBS, and I said, Linda, you're going to be running the programming at PBS, and this is preschool, what you guys are doing. I have a preschool show I've always wanted to do. And by then I was at the Henson Company working on something else. And Linda said, this would be great. You can do it at the Henson Company, and it'll be a PBS Henson show created by you. So we started. And actually from there, it went really fast. That was 2 years ago, and now we have 80 episodes written and recorded. So boom! How about that, huh?
Dinosaur Train. The song is still playing.
I'm sorry.
No, I love it. Speaking of the theme song, Dinosaur Train, you wrote that theme song?
I did. The very first thing I did when we were gonna go to. Linda knew about. This is Linda Szymanski. When she knew we were coming to Washington D.C. to pitch to her, and I thought I'd better have a theme song. I thought part of the pitch should be, I tell her about it, and then I get out this CD and say, and I wrote a theme song. And so I wrote the song. My friend Jim Lang, who I've worked with for years and years, who's the composer and did the score of the pilot, I went to Jim's studio and we busted out a demo in an afternoon, and I brought the CD to Washington D.C. the next day, and they played it and they laughed, and I thought, I'm always a little nervous about my own stuff, and I it's good, right? And they said the next day that they were all singing it in the halls.
Dinosaur Train! Dinosaur Train! We're gonna ride the Dinosaur Train!
This one is just to show the Dinosaur Train in the world. Linda asked me, can I please see this train kind of traveling through the world of dinosaurs, because I kind of need a visual of that.
So you have the actors on the show. I know that you utilized real kids as the voice of the children dinosaurs.
Yeah.
What is that process like? I know in Hey Arnold you also used real kids,
Yeah.
and I think it was the first show on Nickelodeon to actually use real kids.
It was sort of, we were just doing what Charlie Brown did, and because we're all huge fans of that Christmas special. It's like one of the most important things in my childhood was seeing that show and kind of understanding other kind of vibes that cartoons could have. And part of what made Charlie Brown so great was that the children sounded so authentic that it was emotionally authentic. And so that was why we did Hey Arnold with real kids. And now I'm just into it. I mean, I'll just do it. If I for a preschool show, you want them to sound like children. So we start with a script, we start with a story, and in this case it was about the Cryolophosaurus, which is a real dinosaur that lived in the Antarctic, the Jurassic Antarctic, when it was still warm. As you can see, it's warm and kind of lovely. But the thing that was interesting about the Cryolophosaurus to the paleontologists was that he had this really cool bony crest on his forehead that kind of looked like a pompadour. And so they nicknamed him Elvisaurus, and it stuck. And paleontologists love this character, or this dinosaur. It's a really popular dinosaur because it's Elvisaurus. And when I heard about that, early on when we were first talking about what kind of dinosaurs we'd do, I said, Elvisaurus, we have to do this. And he lives in the Antarctic. That's so funny. He could be like a recluse that they go to visit, and he's like hiding from his fans because his crest, it was to attract attention. That's the curriculum of this episode, is that the crest was for making other Cryolophosaurus see him and notice him. So he's getting too much attention. He's the singing dinosaur who it turns out wrote the Dinosaur Train theme song. And he's like an Elvis kind of celebrity singer. But he's hiding in Antarctica because he's trying to get away from all of his fans. Anyway, Buddy and Tiny and Don and Mom take the Dinosaur Train to the Jurassic Antarctic, and they meet him, and they're trying to convince him to finish the song he's working on and get back out there and perform it. And so in the storyboard here, he's saying, that sounds great, but we already sang my song. And Don says, that's your only one? And Buddy says, well, what about that one you were humming?
King.
Well, that's something I've been humming for a while, but I haven't finished it yet.
Maybe we can help.
You really aren't shy, baby.
Okay, so first of all, your website totally rules.
It's true.
How many hits on average?
It is. It's kicking ass. We
does it get a week?
We get 5 million hits a week to stream video. So
Wow.
that means kids going on and watching a show.
Wow.
So 5 million requests a week to stream episodes, and apparently they're watching them over and over, because I know we mix it up and we keep putting on different shows, but that means a lot of looking at shows over and over again.
And how does, currently the internet is just playing such a huge factor in how they market to shows.
Yeah.
How is it affecting the way that you reach your audience?
I think that they call them now, PBS, they really do know preschool kids. They call them digital natives, because these are kids who were born in the digital world and never were in a different world than the world where you went online, you did instant messaging, you could multitask and have a bunch of stuff going at once. They all grew up with handheld computer devices, and so these digital natives, they might go to the website first before they even go to their TV. And so for them, they were very comfortable. The show was getting those 5 million hits in its first week before the show started. The website started a week before, and they reported at the end of the week that we had 5 million hits. And so it was already a hit show before it was on TV. And so that's fascinating to me. That means that kids navigate computers even when they're preschoolers.
Is the traffic coming from the PBS site?
Yeah, they go to pbskids.org,
Got it.
and then they go to Dinosaur Train. And then, when you go to pbskids.org, you get the whole array of the other shows, because they all have websites. That's just mandatory. You can't start a show without creating a website too, for that very reason, that audience might want to stream it on their little computer more than they'd even bother with TiVo and stuff like that.
So Craig, what is this big board here?
We call it the big board. It's all 80 of our scripts written down in the order that we recorded them, and it's 80 different 11-minute episodes.
Amazing. Nice and organized.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
What's this one down here, number 73?
73, that's Dinosaur Block Party. Dinosaur
Block Party?
Dinosaur Train.
Dinosaur
Once
Train.
upon a time there was a mom. Her name was Mrs. Pteranodon. Sitting on her nest she heard a scratching and said,
Oh boy, my eggs are hatching.
one by one her